I know you, I can feel you with the green of soul. It's more than empty dreams and promises. It's not infecting me no more. When all I say to you is getting gone, you won't be feeling me no more. I know you, I can feel you with the green of souls. When you're not looking at me, I feel so slow. With all those dreams of all our memories, there's nothing alone at one. And thoughts of you just bring me down inside. I sing it with the green of souls. I know you, I can feel you with the green of souls. When you're not looking at me, I feel so slow. Get your hands up. It's more than empty dreams and promises. Here we go.
All right, season 2. What is up, you guys? My name is Eddie Booze, and you're watching The Listening Room. This is season 2 of The Listening Room, the season 2 premiere. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Again, my name is Eddie Booze, and you're watching The Listening Room. You guys are quite amazing, and I had so much fun during season 1, and the reason I started this show was just to show you guys some of my own music, and then I started to interview other musicians and other artists locally, and I started to realize how much I actually enjoyed it. So this show kind of turned into that. It kind of morphed into a show where I get to showcase some of the best local and regional talent around. And as I move forward with the show, hopefully I'll get to showcase a little bit more of that as well. So I wanted to say thank you to you guys so much for joining me in season 1 of The Listening Room. And thank you guys in advance for joining me for season 2 as well. You guys are quite amazing. And so I want to introduce my guest for today. You know him. You love him. Welcome back, Mr. BJ Engel. How you doing, Beej?
What's up, Eddie? Thanks for having me back, man.
Always.
Congratulations on season 2.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. As you can see, I'm kind of got a new set going on here, and
I see that. Looks great, man.
appreciate it, brother. Well, you know, the curtains are a little wrinkly still. You know what I mean? I didn't get them, but you know, I actually got some different ones coming. These are actually for the set out there. There's a couple little changes that'll happen within the next couple days with the set.
Nice.
So you'll see the full set by tomorrow, not tomorrow, on tomorrow, because this is actually pre-recorded. So this episode is being pre-recorded at 1:45 in the morning, because this is when we had to do it. So we're up. I can't thank you enough for joining me and hanging out with me and staying awake. You know,
Honored to be here, man.
Dude,
Honored to be here.
You're the man, brother. Appreciate you, dude. Okay, cool. So dude, like like I said, the set will definitely be a little bit different. It'll be a little bit panned out. I got a little bit of a tight shot today, so you guys are only going to see a little. This is pretty much my set for the day, but I'm looking forward to showing you guys what we got. What we got coming up. So today I'd like to start the show and like to start the season. Like I like to start off every show, and how I like to start off my day with a little bit of gratitude. So today I'd like to say I am so happy and grateful for my grandmother. I've said this before. I may have talked about my grandmother on the show, and I was so fortunate to be able to spend as much time with her as I did, and she was one of the most influential people to me when I was growing up. And we went to see the Angels play. She had season tickets to the Angels for since before I was born. So I was fortunate enough to go to many baseball games and sit right behind the Angels dugout throughout my whole life and see, and spend some wonderful time and wonderful years with my grandmother. And some of the fondest memories I have of her, like going to see like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the theater, or like Jurassic Park, or like
awesome.
Yeah, we saw like A League of Their Own, like The Mask, like it's like amazing. Totally classic films, that
all the epic movies from our time, man.
Like TMNT is epic.
Heck yeah, dude! They just put it on Netflix. I watched it the other day.
The original?
Yeah, dude, it was awesome.
Dude, that's what's up, dude.
And the second one with Vanilla Ice.
Oh, I love it, bro. I love it. Did you know that MC Hammer was supposed to be in that? That was supposed to be his.
Oh, was
it? It was supposed to be his part. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, dude, I just love my grandmother, and she'll always kind of be, with me. And after she passed, I ended up writing this song, and since I wanted to talk a little bit about how I started the show too. So how I started the show was I started the show to just show you guys a little bit of my music, to talk a little bit about what I do, show you guys some of my music, show you guys some of my films and stuff. So the show was supposed to be about a 5 to 10 minute show every day. And I was going to show you guys one song out of my catalog. And today I'm going to show you guys the song that I wrote for my grandmother. A lot of the times when I have other artists on here, I show their work. But today, in the spirit of the listening room, the spirit of how this is created, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys one of my songs. The song we're going to listen to today was written for and about my grandmother. This song is called Even Chase.
That's the best, man. Grandmas are the best. I got to fortunately spend a lot of time with my grandmothers growing up too.
That's awesome, dude.
Both on my dad's side and on my mom's side. And my grandmother from my mom's side actually lives in town here, so I get to see her pretty often. And
very cool.
We get to do some stuff together. And yeah, just like you, some of my best memories are with my grandma.
I love it, dude. I love it. So just to give you guys a little bit of back story on this song. The song's called Even Chase, and Chase was the name of our dog at the time. We had a Maltese named Chase, and he, after she passed, he would always go in her room and lay on her bed, and he's waiting for her, and so anyway, yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and check out Even Chase. I was soaking up life, I was letting a tear drop, I was looking at your picture tonight. I guess you could say I was thinking about you. In touch mind, your heart's bigger than time, and Mother Nature doesn't have the force to keep your love down. These photographs are worth my lifetime. 100 years from now, I'm praying that I'm standing next to you, walking close and hanging on to every word of my love for you. It's unequivocal, I feel bad for any woman I fall in love with from the start, cause you're always on my heart. I don't need to get back to the life lessons you were sharing. My family's gone, I feel alone sometimes, but I know you're there, and all I have to do is close my eyes and go and smell your room. You overwhelm me, touch me, love me, keep me marching through. When times are rough, I know you're right there rocking it. I feel your presence, give me strength to be on top of it. You taught me well, never leaving out the details. Experience, love, life, wisdom, we hail. We've come a long way in love, deep as life lets us. So many skeptics thinking negative, they second guessed us. They told my mom, you never wake up, never improve. I short of whispered in your ear and you just came to. You started talking and the nurse came running over. Couldn't believe her eyes and ears, and I felt sorry for her. Well, does that mean she hasn't felt a love like ours yet? It fills you up with joy and pain you'll never forget. And for every memory you sing a harmony to the melody of your love. And for every heartbeat I'll dance another step or two, like I was holding you. And for every memory you sing a harmony to the melody of your love. And for every heartbeat I'll dance another step or two, like I was holding you. I remember holding you. It seems like yesterday that I heard you say my name. When I was little enough to pick up, you held me close enough to hear my heart, and I could read your love right back to you from the book you wrote for me. The song I wrote for you
was eating up the misery. Without your love, life hurts on a daily basis. Even Chase walks around looking kinda aimless. He knows you're gone and I know he misses you too. Every day he's on your bed waiting for you. It's been a year but it feels like 20 minutes. Life is short, life is hard, it seems it's what we make it. Like the sun breaks through on a bad day. You picked me up, held me high, showed me reason. Life is love, life is sweet, and it's for the taking. It tastes like cinnamon apples on Thanksgiving. Like you made for me 18 years straight. The next 10 were on me, and now my heart aches. And for every memory, you sing a harmony to the melody of your love. And for every heartbeat, I dance another step or two, like I was holding you. And for every memory, you sing a harmony to the melody of your love. And for every heartbeat, I dance another step or two, like I was holding you. I'm so glad that I had you.
Even Chase. I love that song. That was the last tune on BOOZE, like the drink, the album I put out, I think in 2014. I think I put that one out.
Great song, man. So much more emotional now that I know what it's about.
Yeah, you know, there was my grandmother and I had a very close connection, you know, and I remember there was a time, and it talks about it in the song, where she actually fell and broke her hip, you know, getting out of bed in the middle of the night, you know, to go to the bathroom. And she had to have surgery, and it was just me and her. I lived with her and I took care of her for 11 years. And she had Alzheimer's disease, and that progressed through the 11 years. So when she had to go to the hospital to have that surgery, my mom was around at the time, and my mom took it upon herself to stay with Grandma during the surgery, and she told me to just take a couple days, take some time, and so I did. And a friend of mine, a friend of mine was moving to Las Vegas, and she said she needed my help, so I ended up leaving Long Beach Memorial Hospital. I went to pick up a U-Haul, went right to my friend's apartment in Torrance, loaded all her stuff up, her mother, her daughter, and drove them out to Las Vegas. And then I unloaded. We got there. I unloaded all their stuff, pretty much set their new apartment up, and then I crashed for about a day or two. My mom called me and told me, "Oh, Grandma's out of surgery, but it's gonna take her about a day to come out of the anesthetic." So my mom calls me like the next day, and she says, you need to get home. Grandma's not waking up. So I was a little alarmed, and I was on the next thing smoking. I jumped out to McCarran and jumped on the next plane home, and I got home at about, I'd say, 10:30 at night. And visiting hours are over long before then at Long Beach Memorial Hospital. But my mom apparently had worked it out with them, and they knew I was coming. So they let me in. I got there at about 10:30, and I remember I went up to the room, and my mom was there. My mom was in the room with her, and I walked in, and my mom was like, she's not waking up. She's not responsive for me. She's not responsive for any of the doctors, any of the nurses, or anything. And I remember I walked over to her, and her right ear was her good ear, is the ear that when I communicated with her, I would speak to her in her right ear. I would always, lean in and, speak to her in her ear, and speak softly. And, and like I said, we had a very special bond, when I was growing up, So I remember I walked into the hospital room. I said to my mom, she wasn't doing too good. And I walked over to my grandmother, and I leaned down, and I grabbed my grandmother by her shoulder, and I said in her ear, I said, Grandma? I said, Grandma, are you okay? And she opened her eyes, looked at me, and said, Eddie, is that you?
Oh,
Shit you not, the nurses came running. Literally, the nurses came running over and was like, they were like literally crying. Like they were like, we don't know what
oh,
happened. Like she wasn't responsive to anybody. Like she's been like kind of, like moving around in the bed and stuff, but she wasn't like opening her eyes for anyone or responding. And as soon as we had a chance to talk to each other, she woke up. I
wow,
ended
man.
I ended up spending quite a few more years with my grandmother before she ended up passing. But yeah, we
Oh, that's the best.
so we had a really special bond actually, my grandmother and I, and like she was one of the most special women in the absolute entire world. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, family. You know what I mean? You love your family, and you just want the people you love to, to do well and age well, and
At the end of the day, man, that's what you got. You got your family, and some of us who don't have a lot of close family, we make our friends our family. And I feel very much that way about a lot of people who aren't my family too. So
I do too, man.
keep those who you have close to you close, man.
Yeah, I agree, dude. Like, for like I don't like my family lives in northeastern Oregon, so I don't get to spend holidays with my mom and my sisters and my brother and my nieces and nephews, as often as I'd like, So, sometimes during those holidays it's nice to just spend them with friends, and those people you're closest to, whether they are your blood relatives or not, sometimes. Those people are family, anyway, I consider you, my
Yep.
family, Beej. I consider you my brother, man.
Damn rights, man. Right back at you, my friend.
I love you, bro.
Love you too, man. Love you too.
Absolutely, bro. It's just good to have good people in your life, and I encourage you
That's
guys
for
to,
sure.
if you don't have someone, if you don't have people like that in your life, I encourage you to go out and find them, and
Yep.
make yourself good, because if you make yourself good and you start to focus on the things that are good about you, you'll start to realize some things, and you might, start to attract that kind of energy to yourself in general, So
And you never know where you're going to find that sort of thing either.
you're right.
A few years ago, I'm searching around on YouTube and I found my brother singing uh, Bad Religion tunes on the ukulele.
I love it.
Right?
It's awesome, dude. That's rad.
Never would have thought that would have happened,
I
but
know.
it did.
And there's been
And you got to be open to those
Right.
experiences, or else if you're wandering around life all closed down like that, you're going to miss out on some great stuff.
I totally agree, man. I really have got to say too, since we've connected, so much has happened in both of our lives. There's been so much growth
much.
that has just kind of taken hold in both of our lives, and we've been able to both just like grow in crazy ways. Like I watched you, go from, being, stationary and not really doing too much to just being like a force to be reckoned with, and like booking show. Like you're like the main booker in town. You're the main recording engineer in your town, in probably multiple towns around you. You have music on the radio. You run a summer concert series for the entire region. Dude, you've like taken off and done like these huge things, and a lot of that started when we started playing music. I'm not saying that it's because of
Yep.
of what we, of our connection, but I am saying that I was nice to become friends with you in that time and watch the growth and see just the amazing,
We,
just to see the
we
amazing
totally fed off each other in that period, too.
in a big way. I wasn't, doing too well, myself emotionally. I remember when I first met you, I remember the very first time we talked, we spent like 3 or 4 hours on Skype just talking about life. And I
Yep.
remember it was one of the most like invigorating experiences of my life, connecting with someone that I'm now so close with,
Oh, dude, we both had tears going.
Yeah.
We had laughs going. I think it was way longer than 4 hours.
I actually
too.
think it was 5 hours or more. I remember, it was
Or more,
insane,
yeah.
dude. Like, and like, those are some of the best. To be honest with you, those are some of the best nights. Like when we're up like super late chatting, bullshitting. Right now, me and you, which I mean, it's the middle of the night right
You-
now. We're up having a great time,
You're like the only guy I know that we can put Skype on and do other shit for like 3 hours and not even say anything to each other. Like, you'll be working on your stuff and I'll be working on my stuff.
Right.
It's like, oh wait, Eddie's on the screen still. Hey
Yeah,
man,
and then we'll just talk a little bit, and then you're doing your thing, and I'm doing my it's like we're literally hanging out. By the way,
Yeah.
my brother from another country. By the way, this man lives in Canada.
That's right.
That's right, just across the border on the west coast. The west coast, right?
Just inland from the west coast, about 4 hours east to Vancouver, right on the border, Washington border.
Right. So, Beach. So, look, we got into a little bit of family. We got into a little bit of talking about some music. We got into a little bit of this. We got into a little bit of gratitude. And I talked to you about what I'm grateful for. Give me something you're grateful for today, Beach.
Today, I am grateful for my ability to express myself creatively. Ever since
Love that.
I was a little kid, I was extremely creative. I had a huge imagination. At a young age, I began being an artist. I draw and that sort of thing, and build stuff and do things with my hands. And I always need to be completing some kind of task. And I think that's what I like the most about music, is that you can never reach the end of music.
Yes.
Right? So I'm constantly challenged by it. You're never going to be finished guitar.
Right.
Right? Like guitar, there's no
Right.
end to that. And if you do, by some miracle reason, get to the end of guitar, first of all, you got to show me how you did that.
You beat
'cause
the
I'm
final
curious.
boss of guitar.
Right? Then there's like 10,000 other instruments you can pick from. You just pick the next
yeah.
one, right? So it's something I never get bored with. And, I'm happy just to have a place to go, whether it's on a pad of paper or in a recording DAW or on a guitar. I can go to that place when everything else sucks and just make it go away and do something else for a while, leave the planet and be creative.
I love it, dude. I love that, man. And it's so true. Like, the way I like to describe getting better at an instrument or getting better at guitar is I like to describe it as clearing away fog. So when you start to learn something, you're just clearing away some more of the fog. You're just clear.
Yep.
You just have a little bit more of the picture. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, you're not going to be able to see all of it at once. You're never just going to be able to clear all of the fog away. You know what I'm saying? There's always going to be something you can learn. There's always going to be something you can get better at. There's always going to be something you can work on. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, there are people who have mastered their instruments out there, and but I think a fair amount of that also has to do with mastering music theory itself. Because when you play guitar and like you said, beat the final boss of guitar, like your mastered guitar, like that means that you have that mastered understanding of music theory as well. You know what I'm saying? That that you essentially are like omnipotent musically. And there's very few people in this world that I think have ever even achieved that, state. Well,
there is an amazing video that just came out from the guitar player Steve Vai.
Love Steve Vai.
I don't know
Actually,
if you caught that on YouTube.
I've seen Steve play live.
He is considered a guitar god.
Yeah.
And probably one of the masters of his craft.
Well, I saw G3.
Anyways, he just came out with a new video pushing his boundaries even further with a new style of playing. I forget what it's called. It's called like multiple bending or something crazy like that. And it's like nothing I've ever heard. If you can find that on YouTube, you should have a watch, because it's next level guitar stuff that I've never seen in my life.
No kidding. I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah. So even when you are a master, you can still clear more fog, was my point.
Nice. Exactly. That's the point. The point is that you're always going to have something. You're always going to have room for growth. You're always going to be able to teach yourself or even write something new that's challenging to yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the beauty of music, is there's a creative aspect to it. You can learn every piece out there, but you can also write new things and challenge yourself to push yourself to play, new and creative riffs that have never been played before. You know what I mean?
That's totally Yeah.
Right, and kind of like push into like then you're kind of pushing into like signature style playing. Like, you've got like Dimebag Darrell style playing where like there were specific riffs and specific styles of the way he maneuvered around the fretboard or like
Yeah.
or like
Oh, that is Dimebag.
right, you totally or like Van Halen or whatever. Everybody's got their own little Jimi Hendrix, you know what I mean? Like like Eric Johnson or Steve Vai.
We have our styles, man.
Totally, exactly. Everybody's got that. So I can appreciate that gratitude today too, Beach. I really can. I think that's wonderful, and it's something that I think that's something intrinsic that is one of those things. Like, do we allow ourselves to forget to appreciate? Is it one of those things we take for granted? As musicians. So I don't know, maybe.
Well, and we're seeing a lot of new stuff right now too with the situation at hand on the planet. People are trying to come up with new ways to be creative because their old ways have been blocked temporarily.
Yeah, you're right about that.
And I've seen some beautiful stuff happening.
No, you're right about
people, even what we're doing here, this may not have been a thing
this totally
if we
spawned
didn't
from,
have those cards dealt to us.
This totally
right?
spawned from that. This totally spawned from having, from being forced to think of a more creative way or a creative outlet to put this stuff out. There was plenty of times, over, when all of this was kind of starting, and I was thinking to myself, like, I wanted to put my music out. Like, I have so many different genres of songs. I probably over 200, 300 songs that I've written that I've recorded. Just on Dropbox, I have 160. And they're all different genres. So I thought to myself, I'm like, how other than just putting albums out, can I just get my music out? And I thought, I'm gonna just put this show. I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna go out. And I started. You know what I mean? Like, I just started. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't start off good. You know what I mean? Like, dude, even the camera like was not great. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. This. I'm not sure if you guys saw my pajama pants, but it is 2 o'clock in the morning, so I got my shirt on and my pajama pants on.
You're not required to wear pants now.
I'm not. No, I'm not. All right. Well, I'm glad I'm wearing some pants anyway. But this little action cam.
Me too.
This little $50 action cam. I think I got it for $45 on Amazon. This was what I used for season 1. Literally, the entire thing. The entire season 1, was shot on this camera. All of the musical performances were shot on this camera. Everything you saw in season 1 was shot on this camera. $45. It didn't.
And we need to give a round of applause for that little camera because it did a pretty great job last season.
Love you, baby. Absolutely. Let me put this right here. Let me put that. It's gonna sit there.
Give it its own spot. There you go.
It goes. It deserves the recognition, Beej.
Yeah, it does.
So
for sure.
It sure does. So my point is that I didn't wait until it was perfect. I didn't wait until I had the best cameras and the capture cards and all the stuff that I needed to shoot a show. I just put some Velcro on the bottom of this, put some Velcro on the top of my computer. I stuck it on there, plugged the cable in, and I said, how do you work OBS? And I downloaded OBS, and I taught myself how to work OBS, and then I started a show. It was that simple.
Yep. That's how you have to do stuff, man. You have to just start. Stuff's not just going to start for you. It's not just going to happen.
Right.
Like when we first met and I was having a hard time because I was stationary, what was my round one thing that I needed to do? I needed to get mobile.
You needed to get mobile.
So how do you do that? You start looking up some ways to get mobile in a wheelchair.
Put one foot in front of the other, dude. You literally 1 foot in front of the other. You did that.
Right? You just gotta go and you gotta take risks and you gotta fail.
Yeah.
And you gotta learn from those mistakes. And if you do the grind, man, you do the grind and go through all those things and you will be successful for sure.
Yeah.
I'm a full believer that if you apply yourself, you can do what you want to do.
100%. I'm 100% in agreement with that too, Beej. Like I'm one of the big. I was soaking up. I'm one of the biggest proponents of your thoughts create your reality. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, so that's one of the reasons I like to talk about gratitude. Start the show off with gratitude every day. That's one of the reasons I like to tell people out there. That's one of the reasons I want to tell you guys right now and today, right in this moment, that staying active in your mental and emotional health is key. Not just hoping that you have good days. Stay active in your mental and emotional health. Legitimately practice it. It's a practiced art. It's not easy to stay conscious, to stay aware, to stay in the game. You know what I mean? And be a part, be the objective observer to what's going on, and attempt to drive it. Attempt to control your emotions, control your thoughts. Say, I feel happy and grateful, for this. Or if you catch yourself not feeling good, say, hey, I caught myself not feeling good right now. Let me think about, well, I don't like feeling like that, and in that moment you say, I don't like feeling like that. Well, what thoughts do you want to fire? You know what I mean? What emotions do you want to feel? So try and do your best to think about the things that would bring up the emotions that you want to replace the bad ones with. Stay active in your mental and emotional health. And one of the best ways to do that, I find, is to acknowledge the things you're grateful for. Talk about them.
Yep.
Write them down. Say them. Do whatever you can. Write them down in the comments, you guys, and just say them out loud. Talk about them as much as you can. Repeat them over and over and over again. Write them down. I write mine like standards. I literally have, I am so happy and grateful to blank. I am so happy and grateful to blank. I am so happy and grateful to blank. I have one book with over 1,400 of those in it. It's full. It took me a year to write. It's not like, and like I said,
it's super easy to take stuff for granted, man.
And it's a practice.
The minute it's gone,
yeah,
that's when it's a big problem.
Right. And it's a practiced art. Gratitude is a practiced art. It's not a, just this thing that comes, happiness and, fulfillment doesn't just pop up in your life. You have to make the decisions to, the good decisions in your life to feel more fulfilled. You have to keep the promises to yourself, to feel more fulfilled. You have to, the more decisions you make to feel more fulfilled, the more moments of happiness you're going to create in your life, and the closer they're going to be together and the longer in duration they're going to be. You can't have happiness forever because, things happen, loved ones get hurt, things, whatever.
Life deals you some cards, man. So you better balance them out with some.
That's right.
Some
you better be engaged is what we're talking about here. So be engaged. It's very important, you guys, in your own mental and emotional health. It's extremely important. All right, you guys. So let's go ahead and take a look back at season 1 of The Listening Room, you guys. We had some incredible guests this season. I mean, some really, really incredible guests. I was so fortunate to have Mr. Crumb, Ukebox Euros, Phoenix, Sabukwe Ramsey, Raymondell, Klepto K. I just gotta throw it out there, dude. Like, Klepto K was my favorite musical guest of the season last season. I was so blown away by the original just style of what he brought to the table. It was so cool. Yeah,
very cool.
I'm so stuck on that, man. I've been listening to his performance from his first musical performance on The Listening Room, which was, I think, episode 30 or something like that, or 28 or something like that. It was so good. It's like a 45-minute set. I downloaded the audio and I listened to it when I drive. Whenever I'm driving, that's what's playing in my car. It's awesome. If you guys haven't heard Klepto K, go check him out. I'm gonna have him on the show many, many times this season. He's gonna be in during the week, all kind of days all throughout the season. He's going to be running a new television show for us for the Arts and Enrichment Academy channel, actually, on YouTube here, where he plays like an Indiana Jones style character that's discovering music theory. So it's a show for kids. It's going to be like a green screen show, and he's going to be like an Indiana Jones style character. He's going to be discovering music for kids. And
nice.
Looks like we found a flat today. Let's see how we can use that in the scale. You know what I mean? Things like that. So it should be pretty fun. So and Kevin is an amazing artist, fantastic musician, fantastic educator. So I'm really looking forward to working with him as far as that goes with the kids.
Fun,
dude.
man.
Seriously, right? It sounds super fun, right? Dude, okay, so
I might have to scoop some of those pointers for my students.
right? Exactly, dude. Yeah, dude, like, well, Kevin ran one of Kevin was one of the first people to ever run my music program, the music curriculum that I wrote, other than me. So when I started my business and I taught and I hired people and taught them how to run my curriculum, he was one of the first I ever had do that. And he was amazing at it. Like, my curriculum didn't have them actually learning how to read music in the curriculum. However, when I showed up week 3 to just pop my head in and say what's up, see how the class was doing, say hi, see how he was doing, I just popped my head in, and all the kids were like finishing learning how to sight read sheet music. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing with these kids? Like, how are you getting this is so advanced, and I loved it. I mean, he's awesome, and he's just that kind of like way ahead of the curve type thinker in general, so and you can see that in his music. You can see that in kind of what he's bringing to the table as far as music goes right now, so
for sure.
Definitely be watching out for whatever he's going to be bringing to the table, as we move forward, definitely. So you guys, put your eyes on the screen and let's take a look back at some of my favorite moments from season 1. Welcome to the listening room, everyone. My name is Eddie Booz. I am your host. And today, my guest tonight, we're going to have a special guest with us this evening. I'd like to introduce you to my guest today. And today, my guest is multi-talented. My guest with me today and as a performer, she's known as Phoenix.
Yes.
Please welcome to the program, Mr. Crumb and Mr. James Key. How you guys doing today?
Thanks for having me, Eddie.
Klepto-K. Good to see you, my man. Mr. BJ Engel from Usuyus, Canada. Mr. Kyle Romero, how's it going? Rob Caramala from Carpet. Getting to experience those things, because when you experience those things or when you get to grow, they're a chance for you to rise.
Right.
When you experience obstacles, when you experience challenges,
and
when
learn.
You experience this, absolutely.
You don't learn as much when everything's just going all great and you're almost just in the enjoying of the experience when everything's awesome.
Exactly.
So you forget to grab the little lessons.
Right.
Versus when the challenges are there and when you are forced to adjust and make a change and pivot because that challenging experience is causing that negative emotion. That's when you grab those lessons, because it's like, oh, I just realized this is what's causing the pain. This is what is making me uncomfortable. This is the source of the anxiety, you know? So where you learn is actually in the negative experiences.
That's right.
Negative experiences.
And oftentimes those learning experiences are intrinsic too. It's not just necessarily learning a lesson about, out something external about, I learned that lesson not to do that again, but you learn a lesson about how to deal with specific, emotional triggers and things that actually come into your world. And those can be sometimes some of the most valuable, learning experiences. You know what I mean?
Yeah, self-knowledge is the greatest knowledge.
So I'm grateful for that. Miss Daisy's over here getting some love.
Yeah, Daisy.
All right, you guys. I love that, Kyle. So Kyle Romero, he's the host of a podcast that you can find on Spotify called Mind Tasting. It's a phenomenal podcast, and it's one of Sabukwe's tunes that is, it's one of my favorite songs of his, actually. So here we go. Let's go ahead and check out Limitless.
Yes. Unequivocal forces in space unlock my power through a formidable state. Never question the stars are aligned. I feel the energy in my spine. The treasures are unknown, but will soon dethrone. The Death Star destroyed. The perfect revolution.
In my conscious be monumental, manifested in my past life. Stick to the manuscript. Finish the path right, see the visions viewed as my blunt burn epiphany from last night. As my daydream was done, I took the advice, Jedi mind shit. Use the force through course, beyond the sky, purely limitless images to learn the basics. On the fly as pure as the sunset, accomplish my goals, a final destiny. continue searching for the glory I've yet to see. Mainly, I was aiming to be the greatest, preferably highest in alignment with the constellations. Proper patience for the passion in this artwork. Sensations of Frida Kahlo, a vividly dark curse. I know I can see it, still the scenery's vivid. Homie, I'm holding my focus, never leaving my pivot. NBA, league pass, the vision and Steve Nash to really feel that mental beings of elite class, limitless.
Lost my mind, but I'm fine to Jupiter. Lost my mind, but I'm fine. Hit it back to Jupiter. Lost my mind, but I'm fine. Lost my mind, but I'm headed back to Jupiter. Lost my mind. I'm fine.
Beyond the comprehension of the normal kind, focused with stamina. Fourth quarter in the overtime, gifted, prolific in my own design. No signs, don't lose it, cause the soul is blind. Flow a line so sublime, there's so much gold to unfold. I need a checklist, royalty in my soil, infinitely epic. See the game, a step at a time, believe in Tetris. Breathless, smoking, got my head bent to top the competition, plotting shit with my logic. See, I breathe in all the knowledge, the profitable profit. Migraines, yet my mind frame microscopic when I'm shooting for the stratosphere. Mentally, fiber optic, lost in translation, trying to find a topic. Found it in telepathy, the true complexity to discover what you're meant to do in physical form. Before I die, I'm a killer for the lyrical sword.
Oh, hell yeah. I love that tune, dude.
Nostalgia.
Dude, yeah, bro, you and Brandon both did some work on that, dude. Hey, you know what's funny too is like when you came back in on that beat, when the beat dropped again, I was like, how the fuck did he know it was coming back in? Like, you know, like I wasn't sure. I was like, where, like how? Like there was no, you know, like it didn't feel like there was a count there anyway. I wasn't apparent to me anyway. And like you came back in like right on the beat, and I was like, huh? What the hell?
Yeah, you can ask Ashley.
Been practicing apparently.
Yeah. They know that when I make a beat or whatever, like I'm on earphones like for 2 weeks straight, like
practicing.
Yeah.
Like Bob Dylan says, I know my song well before I start singing.
That's right.
Throw your little stick
little
twist
stick
in
twirl
there,
in there, right?
You know, whatever you can do. There's times where I practiced like just throwing my stick on the ground, and I could get it where I hit the ground and it bounce back up.
And that's sick.
And then half the time it didn't work, and it'd fly up, but then you grab your spare one down. Nobody knows that you did anything different, you know. Just throwing things. Try to start juggling but whatever. As long as you have extra sticks, you're fine.
So, and when you throw your sticks into the audience, do you kind of like lob them, or do you stand up and throw them as hard as you can?
You have to lob them. You want them to come back to the next show. You know?
So BJ actually wasn't born with this affliction. Can you kind of tell everyone kind of what happened to you, and kind of, you know, you were in bands, you were rocking it on stage, doing it big, and then kind of what kind of happened, if you wouldn't mind telling everybody?
Yeah, sure, no problem. I was living out in Vancouver, playing in multiple bands, and near the end, I was in one solid band. It was called Shift Kit, and we were doing the tour thing, playing the local circuit, and all of a sudden I was having some issues with falling over. I mean, it sounds kind of funny, but it's not normal to fall over. And
no,
my friends were like, no, not normal. You're going to the hospital. And next thing you know, it was a big whirlwind of this crazy disease thing that they don't really know much about. And over about the course of about 10 years, it took the use of my legs. So now I'm full-time in a wheelchair, and life goes on. You know, I'm comfortable in my chair now, and, you know, there's no stopping me. I got that wheel thing, so it's game on. You know, BJ is unleashed.
Oh, bro, I love it, dude. I love it, dude. Like, and like I said, I love the fact that you just did this. Like, you just jumped in. You took the initiative to like contact this dude to like, did he make this thing for you?
Yeah, it was kind of like the weirdest thing. I saw one of my friends, there's another company in Europe making these things. And I was like, my friend showed us to me, and I was like, oh man, I need that so bad. So I looked into it, and they were like thousands and thousands of dollars. I was like, no way, man. So I figured out, what the parts would be to make one.
Right.
And I literally just posted on Facebook. I was like, can somebody help me make one of these? And a friend of mine who lives in Australia knew a guy that lives close to here that was like a fabricator guy. And he messaged him, and then he got a hold of me and was like, sure, man, I'll make that for you. And
That's
literally, this
cool.
guy, Justin Hildebrand is his name, he came down with his computer and like drew a digital model of my wheelchair and disappeared for about 3 months or so, and then showed back up with this thing and hooked it up to my bike or hooked it up to my chair, and away I
Dude,
went.
I remember you were just like I remember you Skyped me like while you were like on a ride, and then you're like, I'm just riding around town, like I'm at the beach, like
Yeah.
like
Thank you, man.
let's check in with Miss Daisy and see what Miss Daisy thought. She loved it. All right, and we are back. I loved that whole season. That was so much fun. I just had a blast.
That was awesome,
Dude.
man. What a great time.
Dude, seriously, man. Like I just getting I think our first episode was one of the most enjoyable episodes I had doing this, and that was one of the things that really made me want to do it more. Really was when we had our episode.
Yep.
Was when I got to kind of shoot
okay.
it with you for an hour and a half, and we just showed a bunch of people our music, and we had a blast, and people were talking and having fun. It was just, dude, this is what exactly so much fun. It was exactly what I want to do. So,
Well, that's the whole thing. You were like, come on, we're going to do this show. It'll be like 10, 15 minutes, whatever.
hour and a half later.
We've got a whole bunch of fans listening to our stuff and having a good time. And yeah, that was
It
a
was
blast,
too much fun,
man.
dude. It was absolutely too much fun. So, you guys, thank you so much for joining us for season 1, you guys, and thank you in advance for joining us for season 2 as well. You guys are quite awesome. So, I wanted to tell you guys real quick. I wanted to kind of shine a light on a couple of the musical guests that are coming up this season. This season, we have Tucker Lives. Awesome young musician from right here in Long Beach, California. We have Mike D from Jelly of the Month Club and Zen Robbie, who's going to be joining us this season. I've spoken with Aaron Roberts. Hopefully he'll be able to make it. Going to have Klepto K back multiple times. Going to have Phoenix back multiple times. Going to have Brian Baker in the house. Gonna have Shy But Fly in the house too. What a treat that is gonna be. You guys are awesome. All my musical guests this season are literally incredible. Noah Grove, out from, I believe he's out in North Carolina right now. He'll be doing a set from his studio. He does a lot of loop station stuff with all organic instruments, and this dude plays everything from the drums, the guitar, the bass, the sax, the whatever you like. And he knocks it all out in the same tune. It's dope.
Nice.
Yeah, so all my musical guests this season are just tip-top, top-notch, top of the barrel, top of the world.
Looking forward to that.
Top of the
man.
morning, whatever, top of whatever.
Just the top,
just the
man.
top,
Just
just
the
tops, in general.
Just topping it.
Exactly. All right, you guys. So, again, come on back for the live musical performances as well as all of our other guests. Tomorrow, we will have Mr. Kyle Romero in the house from the Mind Tasting Podcast. Always love when Kyle joins us on Tuesdays so we can talk about the human experience.
Awesome.
Now, before we go, I have something I want to say. I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to my parents. I want to say thank you so much to my mom. My mother supports my music and what I do so much. I was fortunate enough to have parents that totally supported my dreams, totally saw in me the skill and the determination and the ambition that I had to push this into a profession, to make this something that I could actually live my life with, have a smile on my face every day, not have to worry about some jerk off boss or punching a clock. You know, I thank my mom. Mom, I thank you so much. I thank you for watching every single online concert. I thank you for joining us for the shows. I thank you for being as supportive of you as you have been over the years. I thank you so much, and I love you. And I thank my dad. My dad was the same way. My mom got me my first acoustic guitar. My dad, my first electric. You know, my parents split when I was young. You know, but both of them were super supportive. You know, as I grew as a musician. You know, and as I decided to take this route. You know, as an entertainer and a musician. So I want to say today, I want to say thank you to my father. I want to say thank you, Dad, for affording me the love and support necessary to feel confident to push forward into my art like I did. It's not easy sometimes when you got, you know, when you see parents that push their kids into doing something they might not want to do, you know, because it's more safe, you know, it's more accepted socially, you know, or whatever it may be. But I thank you, Dad. I thank you so much for being supportive, for being there for me, and showing me all the love and guidance that I required as a young man. And last but not least, I'd like to say thank you to my stepfather, Mike. My stepfather taught me a lot about my work ethic. I learned a lot about my work ethic from my stepfather. One of the reasons I get as many shows as I get, and it's one of the reasons I'm constantly, you know, working on movies and constantly contracting out new clients and things like that, is because of my stepfather. He taught me the value of hard work. I remember when when I was younger, he'd make me do the lawn when I was, you know, young, and I'd get out and I'd do the lawn, and he'd come out, you know, after me, and he'd go, okay, you missed a spot there, you missed a spot there, you missed a spot there, you know, you didn't edge right there, you know, you got to do, you know, and then, you know, I'd get all, you know, he'd make me do it again, and I'd get all pissed.
Held you accountable.
I'd get all pissy, I'd go out and everything, but you know what it taught me? You know what I started doing after maybe 2-3 times of having to do it twice? I started realizing a couple things. No, number one, if I didn't do it right, somebody else was going to have to come up behind me and do it right and fix it. So I was just causing more work for somebody else if I didn't do the job correctly, number one. Number two, that if I did it right the first time, I didn't have to do it a second time. So I would take my time. So instead of rushing through things, instead of just trying to get it done as fast as I could, I started taking my time and taking pride in it too, to be honest with you. I was like, I want this to look good. You know, so I would take my time. I would edge right. I would mow right. I would get everything right. And sooner or later, I remember my stepdad coming out and, you know, and looking at it and going like, well, damn, fuck, like this looks good. Like you did a really good job on this. Like, you know, like I don't know that I would have been, you know, done any better. You know, and that was lessons learned. Same thing working on a car. You know, they taught me, you know, how to work on cars. You know, how to work in an engine. You know. Just, you know, it was really nice to have that kind of guidance as well. You know, have that kind of...
That's what my stepdad was too for me, man. And ironically enough, his name was Mike as well.
Well, all the Mikes out there, thank you so much. My sisters, I have 3 sisters. 2 of my sisters' ex-husbands are named Mike. My stepfather is named Mike. Your stepfather is named Mike. You know...
Watch out, if your name's Mike,
you're
going to be a
stepdad.
stepdad someday.
Yeah. That is the truth, my man. Hey, that's all good though. Mike's, you know, just treat them kids good, all right? So my Mike sure did. So I love you and I appreciate you, Mike, and I thank you so much for you know, all the warmth, you know, and for treating me like your own. You know, and for being there and supportive of me as I grew as a musician as well. You know, so today I wanted to take just a little bit of time right now at the end of the session and say thanks to my mom, thanks to my dad, and thanks to my stepfather, Mike, for the love, the support, and the guidance that all 3 of you have shown me throughout my my musical endeavors. When I just jumped on these instruments and I started to play, and you know, and I definitely did not sound good at first, and I appreciate you guys being...
There was an ugly period for sure.
There always is, bro. There always is. So,
There's still ugly periods I put my mom through upstairs.
Right? Oh, the patience they must have.
Oh.
Being the patience of a parent. So anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today on the listening room, you guys. My name is Eddie Booze, and I am your host. I'm looking forward to spending season 2 with you guys. So come on back tomorrow, 6:30, and I'll see you guys in the listening room. Beej, thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you. We'll probably have you on this week, yeah?
Yeah,
Sounds good, my man. I love you, brother.
Love you, brother.
All right, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day, you guys. It's been wonderful. I love you guys so much. Thank you all. Love you all. Thanks for being a part of the listening room tonight. My name is Eddie Booze. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notifications, and give the video a like. We'll see you guys every Monday through Friday right here at 6:30. Take care.